Today we are producing more than 3 million pages, including more than 2,000 videos and 180,000 images.
This hip-hop mogul's mega mansion in LA was just raided after some explosive files dropped, and what investigators claim to have uncovered could allegedly destroy his entire career and even put him behind bars. Behind the billionaire empire, the carefully crafted public image, and the power heist label he built, this mogul was reportedly moving in shady circles and engaging in behavior that tied his name to some of the most controversial documents of our time. We're talking about connections that run way deeper than anybody imagined, with a truth that's darker, more twisted, and more disturbing than most people were ready for. From industry grooming accusations to links with convicted predators, we're about to break everything down with receipts, timelines, and insider accounts. Social media is going crazy over these new files, and this hip-hop boss's alleged involvement timelines, theories, and hot takes flooding every platform, while the entire industry watches to see what falls apart next. But we're about to separate the fact from the fiction, the real from the fake, because there's a lot of misinformation flying around right now. And before you start thinking this is just another wild conspiracy theory or some internet trolls trying to tear down a successful black man, understand this. We're talking about documented connections, industry relationships, witness statements, and patterns that go back decades. This isn't about hating on success, it's about accountability. Here's where it really starts to heat up. The music industry has always been a place where power gets abused. We've seen it with R. Kelly. We're seeing it with the recent cases around Diddy, and now the spotlight is shifting to other major players. The question isn't whether this kind of thing happens to who've been getting away with it for years. So when those high-profile court files hit the internet, people were combing through hundreds of pages looking for familiar names, court records, depositions, flight logs, personal messages, all of it. And then boom, there it was, multiple mentions of a top rap mogul that had people double-checking, zooming in, and screenshotting like crazy. According to those documents, this mogul's name shows up more than once in connection with exclusive industry events, private gatherings, and business meetings, not just passing mentions, but detailed references that hint at ongoing relationships and regular contact with people who are now exposed as predators. One document allegedly shows this hip-hop mogul's name on a guest list for a private event in the Hamptons back in 2003, while another mentions business talks with major entertainment figures. Now, just being mentioned doesn't automatically mean someone's guilty, but it definitely raises serious questions about the circles they were moving in and what they might have known. In the industry, everybody knows networking is everything. Your connections shape your success, your deals, your opportunities. But when those connections include people who later get exposed for serious crimes against minors, the conversation gets uncomfortable fast. Social media went crazy when these links surfaced. Hashtags were trending for days as people dug up old interviews, photos, and business partnerships, trying to build a timeline. Fans were split, some rushed to defend, while others started asking hard questions. And this is where it goes deeper than just name drops and documents. The ties between this mogul and certain questionable figures go way back, and are more extensive than most people realize, forming a web of relationships that stretches across decades. Take Harvey Weinstein. For example, this connection is key to understanding the bigger picture. This wasn't just random Hollywood mingling. They were involved in multiple joint projects over the years, serious business moves that made both of them millions. They collaborated on several film ventures, including documentaries and music-related projects, with Weinstein's company distributing content that this mogul helped create. They were showing up at the same high-profile events over and over, moving in the same circles like longtime insiders can: film festival appearances, Oscar parties, exclusive industry gatherings. This hip-hop mogul even thanked Harvey Weinstein publicly in interviews for helping him understand the film world and camera shout-outs, red carpet mentions, and official business partnership announcements. This wasn't some casual, once-in-a-while connection. It was a relationship built over years, strengthened through multiple projects, and leveraged for mutual gain. For anyone who doesn't really get how deep these industry ties run, here's the deal. At that level, every connection is strategic. You don't just accidentally end up in business with powerful people. Those relationships are built slowly, maintained through regular contact, and used to open specific doors. Weinstein was seen as a kingmaker in Hollywood, someone who could make or break careers with a single call. For a major artist trying to break further into film and broader entertainment ventures, having Weinstein's support was extremely valuable. But when Weinstein was exposed and the allegations against him became public, all those old connections started to look very different. People began asking who knew what and when. Because in that world, it's often said that very little stays secret for long, and the idea that close business partners might have been completely unaware of his behavior suddenly became a lot harder. That's hard to believe, but here's where it gets really interesting. A major female rap star decided she wasn't staying quiet anymore about what she claims to have seen and heard in the industry, and she went on a full-on social media rant that threw everything into chaos, dropping serious allegations about a powerful hip-hop mogul's past behavior that nobody saw coming. She posted about his alleged history with much younger women in the business, pointing to patterns she says go back decades, questioning the nature and timing of his relationships with certain rising female artists, and even raising doubts about the official timelines the public was given. According to her post, one situation involving a teenage rapper was especially disturbing, and she claimed it was an open secret in the industry that people just refused to address, backing her points with old clips and interviews that fans started dissecting frame by frame. This artist has been in the game long enough to know how the industry really works. She's collaborated with major power players, attended the biggest private events, and heard all kinds of behind-the-scenes talk. So when she speaks on industry politics, people pay attention. What really shook everyone was when she shifted from individual stories to calling out the larger system, talking about so-called industry rituals and power structures, and painting a picture of an environment where influential men allegedly use their status to take advantage of young women trying to break through. The reaction to her post was immediate and explosive. Timeline flooded with demands for more details, personal stories, and people connecting dots between different figures, while at the same time there was heavy pushback from fans and insiders who tried to dismiss or discredit what she was saying, making her claims even more controversial and potentially damaging. She wasn't just calling out one rapper in isolation, she was describing a pattern of behavior that allegedly involved multiple powerful figures in the music business, suggesting this kind of exploitation is systemic, not just a few isolated incidents. According to the timelines people have been breaking down online, the story goes back to the late 90s, when a rising rap star was building his name and locking in the connections that would later turn him into a full-blown mogul. Multiple sources have claimed there was a pattern of targeting very young women who were trying to break into music, including an alleged relationship with a teenage rapper while he was already in his late 20s. These rumors aren't new, but they've gained fresh attention in light of recent revelations, especially as old interviews and comments are being rewatched and interpreted very differently now. There are also long-standing claims that he showed interest in a teenage R&B singer who was already a star, and that there was quiet tension between him and another industry boss over her. Then comes a situation with another future global superstar, where the official story says they met when she was legally an adult, but some insiders insist they first connected when she was younger, and that he was pursuing her before the public timeline suggests. A former security insider for another major mogul has even claimed he personally saw this rapper spending time with her at industry events while she was still in her teens. In the streets and in the industry, people understand how power dynamics work, and that's exactly what has so many folks questioning these old stories all over again. When you're a young artist trying to break through, especially a young woman, and someone with a powerful name in the industry shows interest in your career, the power dynamic is completely lopsided. You're not dealing with an equal. You're dealing with someone who can make or break your future with a single decision. A former business partner who was around during this mogul's rise has made comments over the years that feed into these timeline questions, hinting at his interest in much younger women, and often looking uncomfortable when pressed directly about certain past relationships. What makes it even more troubling, according to critics, is his decision to team up with a now convicted predator on multiple projects, even after allegations about that person's behavior with underage girls were widely known in the industry. That same former partner has said he confronted him about how he could collaborate with someone accused of abusing a beloved young singer. When you line up all these claims, a pattern starts to emerge, a powerful figure allegedly using his influence to pursue young women whose careers depended on staying in his good graces. It's not just about Ajit, it's about power, manipulation, and exploitation. And on top of that, online chatter has only intensified with rumors about federal agents and search warrants at a sprawling mansion, turning an already disturbing narrative into something even more serious in the public's eyes, whether those claims are fully verified or not. According to the rumors circulating online, this wasn't some casual visit from law enforcement. It was described as a full-scale raid, with multiple agents, search warrants, and a very specific list of items they were allegedly looking for. Word on the street is they collected communications, financial records, and other materials that some say could back up allegations that have been floating around for years, potentially painting a very different picture of how this mogul rose to power and what methods he may have used to build his empire. Reports claim that several electronic devices were seized: phones, computers, even servers, because in today's digital world, texts, emails, and money transfers all leave a trail. The real question now is whether any of that points to actual criminal conduct or just morally shady choices. There's a big difference between being inappropriate and being prosecutable, and federal prosecutors need hard evidence of real crimes before they can file charges. The fact that people are saying this is a federal case, not just a local one, has sparked speculation about potential offenses that cross state lines or fall under federal jurisdiction, like trafficking or racketeering. His legal team has stayed quiet so far, which is standard theory likely telling him to keep his mouth shut publicly while they figure out what the government might have and what could come next. At the same time, everyone's watching what's happening with other major figures in the industry who've recently come under federal scrutiny. Artists and executives once seen as untouchable, now hit with raids, lawsuits, and serious accusations about using their power to exploit young talent, normalize toxic environments, and silence anyone who spoke out. It's got people talking like the feds are cleaning house in the music business, wondering who else is nervous right now, who's speed dialing their lawyers, and who's trying to guess what evidence might already be in some of these files, especially as more and more people who were once scared to talk are finally coming forward.